So you're also the founder of the Raindance Festival. And in terms of, here we go, promotion now. It is one of the biggest festivals in Europe now. What is it you think that a festival can offer a filmmaker now? Because again, the game has changed a little bit. It's not the same as it used to be. What are the new rules of the festival, if there are new rules?
Well, America is sort of leading the way right now, and South by Southwest starts in a few days. And what they have in America is something called VOD, which isn't really as advanced here, and that's namely because in America your VOD, video on demand, goes through the TV cable, not the phone cable, and we just don't have the bandwidth to download movies quickly like they do in America. So what they're doing in South by Southwest, if you looked at some of the big cable characters like Comcast or the independent film channel IFC, what they do was acquire 500 or 600 independent movies a year, IFC does, and there'll be one that was playing at the South by Southwest next week, let's say, and what they'll do is they'll say, well, if you're in Austin at the festival, you'll have to pay and go see it, but hey, if you're in Denver, you can see it for $4.99 or $5.99, and they sort of move it around and switch on other territories according to where the festival is. Very, very clever. And the goal of a film festival is to, as you know, Chris, from your screenings at Raindance, my goal at Film Festival is to give you an audience full of people, a room full of people to enjoy and appreciate your work. And your goal is to give me something that I can sell tickets to, so we at the very least break even. So that's at the very, very basic level. But in terms of a festival these days, we find at Raindance over the last 5-6 years since that fateful Valentine's Day, is that the successful filmmakers are using Raindance as just one part of the digital strategy. And we lose films, or we lost films 10 years ago because we didn't have a very good digital strategy, even though our first website went live in 1995, and at the day we went live, there were only about 30 other websites in the entire United Kingdom. It was we've still archived a really embarrassing 4-page website, but it was a website. But we didn't really develop it properly, but now that's why at the festival itself, we've got a pretty active social media. We've got nearly 2,500 people a day, average unique people coming to our website, hunting around. Our Twitter group has gone up.
Ooh, there you go.
Hey, that's your bank manager, right?
It must be the president. It's good to take the batteries out.
That's all right. In our Twitter and so on, and how you integrate that in from a festival point of view to offer you or anyone watching out there the chance to get a wider audience.
Right. And how many films are submitted to Raindance every year?
About 3,000.
Right. Okay. So, given the 3,000 and what, 100 or 150?
We showed 100 features. 70 features and docs last year, and about 150 shorts. So we say no to about 1 in 30.
Right. Okay. So, what is it that makes you select the ones that get selected?
Well, Chris, put yourself in my shoes. Look at me. I'm old. I'm tired. I'm wearing sunglasses even at night inside. It's such a conceit, isn't it? But after I leave here, I got to go home and watch movies, right? And last year, to give an example, we had 600,000 minutes submitted. And we watch every one. And I need to watch an average of 400 or 500 minutes of film a week. Better a day, really, but I can't. So now I get home at night and I put in a DVD number 1 or DVD number 2. Something's got to wake me up. And what wakes me up and what makes a film a Raindance film is something we call extreme, which is either extreme filmmaking that is just wow, 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 or an extreme topic, something that's extremely controversial, or I like to think, and had you come to any of the films at the festival last year, I like to think extremely good. So we are an extreme film festival for those 3 reasons.
So it's an interesting point, because again, in 94, 95, when Raindance was in its infancy, you didn't get 3,000 films submitted, because there weren't even that many made. No. In Britain, the year we started, there was only 6 feature films made and maybe a handful of shorts. Right. And the problem was, Chris, if you look back, and you probably had this too, if you made a film, there's only 2 places to submit, Edinburgh and London, and I'm not sure about 94 when your one came out, but they didn't know what to do with it, so they put it in the World Cinema Strand because there's so few British films. Of course, last year at the British Independent Film Awards, we looked at almost 200 features.
which is like that used to be in the 60s, you know, they made 200 films a year.
I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that back then, good was good enough, but now good doesn't cut it. It's got to be extraordinary.
No, gone are the days when the cute, darling, sweetheart film was good enough. Be you British or French or American, there's so much competition out there. There's so many films out there. You need to do something that really distinguishes yourself. And people do it every year. I mean, look at the guy up in Liverpool, Gareth Edwards. Again, someone who came through Raindance, who wanted to get more work as a visual effects artist, and got his little camera out and did something that became monsters. He had no idea. It was never intended to do that. It's great when that happens.
So, for a filmmaker attending a festival, be it Raindance or any other festival, what tips can you offer them to get the most out of that experience?
Well, first of all, before you submit, even get a proper press kit together. And it's shocking to me how difficult it is to get a press kit. From a festival point of view, we need to, when there's a festival page, we need to put a publicity still into the catalogue, and this is the hardest still to get. And we used to put directors and directors' bios and photos, and we stopped doing that. Do you know why?
It's too hard to get.
Directors, film directors can send me a picture of themselves. It's terrible.
It's funny because I did a blog entry on this about a year ago. We live in the media business and we work in the media business, and yet most people, they don't even have, let alone a good headshot, they don't even have a headshot. And it's extraordinary to me that we can be in this business and not take care of the most basic of things. I mean, at the festivals that we're running, you wouldn't believe some of the pictures that turn up. You know,
no, I would believe. Yeah. They wouldn't believe. The other thing is probably hire a publicist. You can't do it yourself. You can't phone up a TV station and say, interview me, I'm fascinating, because they'll think you're an egomaniac. It doesn't need to be terribly expensive. And then, of course, ahead of time, when you're shooting your film, develop your media strategy so that your social media networks, your Twitters and Facebooks and LinkedIn and all that stuff will point to the screening, and so it looks sold out, and then hope some acquisitions people come by. I also think that you need to be prepared to pitch your current project, and again, from experience, you would not believe, Chris, the number of filmmakers who attend with brilliant films, and then we do a Q&A afterwards, and someone puts their hand up and says, could you tell me about your movie? And they go, or could you tell me about your next movie? And they go, So they're shy, or they're not used to public speaking maybe, but it doesn't take much to sit down in front of the bathroom mirror and just come up with a simple 2 or 3 sentences.
It's great advice you're offering.